Hey, Internet.
Say hey,
How's
how are
everybody
you?
doing today? As everybody comes in, just give us a thumbs up or a like. Let us know you're here and so we can acknowledge you. Thanks for being here and hanging out with us live or listening to us after the fact if that happens to be what you're doing. So, man,
Either way, it's all good.
you're in sunny and you said pretty and beautiful weather Denver area, right?
Yeah, I'm in. I think it's Wheat Ridge, Westminster. I don't know. I'm somewhere. They bought a new house, so I'm not quite sure where I'm at. I'm in Denver. I mean, that's
Visiting
that's
your
the
son
best
and
way to say. Yeah, my son
daughter-in-law
and
and
grandkids.
grandkids. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. My other son was up there at birthing, and so that's a kind of up north about an hour. So
gotcha.
it's all good. Having a good time.
Cool. Well, if you need a jet or anything, we'll understand why. Grandkids supersede live every time. So,
Hey, teenagers, she's off with friends. The little one is playing with another one downstairs on Xbox. So hopefully I'm okay.
hey, Carmen,
All
thanks for
good.
joining us. Appreciate you here. Thanks for giving us the thumbs up. And all right, well, let's go ahead and get started. Then we'll talk about some of the or the topic that we've got today, which is reputation management. Kind of wanted to take a bit of an introduction to it and talk a little bit about um, some of the it'll get into a little bit of tips and tricks, but mainly the things that you absolutely have to cover with regard to your reputation online. And there may be more to it than you think, so make sure that you listen and take notes here, just to make sure you're given good coverage for all of the things that are moving around there with your reputation online. So why should you guard your reputation online, Taylor?
Well, I mean, there's a number of reasons, but the biggest reason is because other people are seeing it. It's not. I used to tell people back in the old days. This is the old days before the internet. You could go into a neighborhood and do a really poor job, and mainly the neighbors that talked may know, hey, don't use this person or don't use this company or whatever. But you could go to the next neighborhood and still be able to get work. Well, when you're online, everybody sees everything. I mean, they're watching your Facebook, they're looking at reviews, and reputation management, people think that it's only about reviews, and it's not. It really is about what are people saying about you in other places online, in groups online, in next door, in there's so many places that you could be talked about. And so that's what reputation management is. It's managing those areas and the things that might happen to really cause some negative impact.
So let's talk about what to look for in reputation management, just as kind of a base level. You need to make sure that it is giving you insightful reporting. If you're using
Hmm.
tools for reputation managing, you need insightful reporting that's going to cover all of the major outlets and as many of the minor outlets as possible, so that um, you've got your ear to the ground, and you anytime that there's a mention of your business or your business owner's name, that you're getting an alert just so that you can go try to see what it is that's being said. A lot of them have AI now. I mean, I've seen a lot of the tools, the coolest tools out there now, incorporating AI that help you understand the sentiment, help you understand a little bit more about what was said and why, or where, how much reach it had in terms of influence and things like that, so that you have as much information armed going in to be able to understand what to do about a situation, right? If you think that somebody who left a comment is just a nobody and you're going to blast them a new one because you feel like it's completely unfair, but you've got a tool that lets you know that, hold on a second, they've got 28,000 followers just in the market there where you serve. Be careful what you say. Then you may have just averted disaster because you went in armed with the right information. So reputation management is about knowledge. It's about knowing what the situation is. A lot of it's diplomatic in terms of how you respond and all of that. So any tools that can give you some insight into that are good. But let's now break down what the specific areas, the specific activities that
Well,
make up what reputation monitoring
yeah,
really is.
and I want to go there, but before we do, the easiest thing to set up for reputation management, and it's people say, well, it's not AI, it's not the AI that you're talking about, but Google has a lot of AI stuff. The algorithms go and look. They have an alert, Google Alert. If you just set up a Google Alert for your company name and maybe the owner's name, those two things a lot of times can do a lot of things. Um, they can show you a lot of it without any kind of other issues, you know?
Yeah, no, I think that's a great suggestion, and it's free and it's super easy to set up, and does a pretty good job of finding the things, quickly. I mean,
Hmm.
not too much of a lag. So, there are other tools for sure that you can set up to monitor specific platforms in real time and with sentiment analysis and audience analysis and all of that. Most of that's over. Here's the thing, and I'm just going to say this. I could get blasted for this, you know, and I'm kind of doing,
Remember your
I
reputation.
know, right? I'm kind of about to do exactly what I'm going to encourage you not to do, which is have strong opinions online.
Well,
But
okay.
what I'm just going to say is, with the exception of very few outlets and places, 99.9% of the stuff that gets said, gets retweeted, gets reposted, gets shared is just junk. I mean, it's stuff that is not at the end of the day is not going to change anybody's life. It's not going to make anybody's life better. It's just mostly junk. And you can really set yourself free from the need to feel like you have to participate in that culture and stay tuned in and glued to it and consuming all of this content because you don't want to miss anything. You can really set yourself free if you just decide, you know what, social media is not a place I'm going to participate personally. I'll use it for business, but it's just toxic in any other way. So I'm just going to bow out there. You're going to save yourself. I just heard a guy tell him, this was a conversation. This person has millions of followers, okay, across all the social platforms. He doesn't participate now in any of them personally. He just allows his team to use it now for marketing purposes. But he completely shut down his Twitter account because he realized that over the past decade, he's got a pretty nice life. I mean, he's rich, he's well known, he's a thought leader in his market, in his industry, and he's he's made. I mean, he's got a sweet thing going. But he said all of the problems that have happened to him in the past 10 years, all of the fires he's had to put out, all of the relationships that he's damaged or that have been damaged between he and another person, all of the things that have gone wrong for him in the past decade have been because of Twitter, because of his incessant need to feel tuned into it, to say things that he feels like are important, to ignore his family on the beach during their vacation because, oh no, somebody just said something on Twitter and this is what everybody's talking about right now. And I've got to say my thing and make sure that I get registered as having opinions about something. And so, he said, once I just completely canceled my Twitter account, he said, my life has gotten so much better. I am present. I don't feel like I'm on the hamster wheel anymore. I don't feel the pressure to have opinions about stuff that doesn't feel important to me. It's like, he said, I got my life back. So I just, probably if you're online and, you most likely you don't have anything important to say. So I'm just going to say that. Just give yourself a break and don't feel like you got to stay dialed into your social media.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing. If you've got something that's actually watching and monitoring, if somebody says something negative, 9 times out of 10, it's going to be, if it's on a social platform, who cares? I mean, unless it's about your work. That's the only thing. And then you want to reach out and try to take that offline anyway. So, which brings us to the whole next thing, which is responding. So sometimes you don't have to respond to everybody. There are trolls out there. There are people that man, all they're trying to do is get you upset and get you to do or say something. They may be ex-employees. I've heard of competitors doing it with other competitors. I mean, it's just like, yeah. I mean, if it's not somebody that is important or that you feel like needs to be engaged, then don't engage them. But on the flip side, if it's a review, yeah, you need to respond to those. I mean, reviews are really, really important. So, and
If they're
that's where
sharing
most
something,
people,
yeah, if
yeah,
they're sharing something personal about their interaction with your business as one of your customers,
yeah,
then absolutely, even if it feels like the person is trolling, it does necessitate a response. But if you're just getting someone who's, joining in just a dog pile or something, and they don't have any skin in the game, there's no reason for them to be saying these things. It's not necessary for you to wade in and go toe to toe with all of the naysayers. But responding is important when it comes to customers. If they've had a real legitimate experience with you, and if good or bad, it deserves a response. It deserves some social interaction there. But it doesn't have to be deep and profound. It just needs to be quick and to the point.
So I love this from Renee. Social media is a tool. It's
Yeah,
okay to leave it in the toolbox.
I
I
love that.
love that.
Yeah,
That's great, Renee. That's awesome.
it really is.
That
It's
is
a tool for
awesome.
certain things, and most of the time, it's the wrong tool for the job.
I agree. Well, I've got a personal story about people laugh at me because I have a marketing company and they never see me online, except I get online and they're like, you just buzz through all these things and then we don't see you for another month. I'm like, yeah, pretty much. That's out of it.
Yeah, no, I don't participate. I mean, I did the other day because I had a great experience with our maid service here in Nashville, and they went above and beyond, and I felt like it needed to be called out, and so I mentioned them in a Facebook post, and that's the first. I went back and looked, and that was the first activity, first post from me in months, over 6 months,
Yeah, isn't that
and
wild?
that's fine with me. I mean, to me, it's every. I have to agree with this thought leader who said, all the bad things that have happened come from that. I mean, it just I would spend hours composing myself, composing my thoughts, put it out there. Someone would just come back and fire me up and get me all riled about it. And 3 or 4 days later, I'd end up having to apologize to somebody, usually more than one somebody, and walk back some of my comments or explain, that's not what I meant or whatever, because it gets out of hand so fast. And it's like, yeah, that's not the life I want. So I just quit participating. I figured if there are a few people who want to know what I think about something, they can call me up and I'll be happy to get into it with them. But I'm not going
Yeah,
to do it in social media. Part of the reason for that, this actually just, I know we've got other things to talk about, but this is all relevant to the conversation here. Um, you pointed out just the other day today that there was a NASCAR driver who was just suspended indefinitely by NASCAR and by the team he drives for because of a meme on social media that he liked. He didn't post the meme, he just liked it. Maybe he commented, I'm not real sure, but he just liked it. Well, at the time he did it, the wind was not, I mean, the issue that the meme was dealing with was still up in the wind, and nobody knew which way the wind was blowing yet. Nobody knew exactly all the details or all the facts, nothing else. It was just all brand new, and it was one of those inflammatory moments. And he liked something without thinking about it, without understanding everything. And then months and months and years later, in fact, 3 years ago was when this happened. 3 years later, it's discovered that he liked it. Now the dust is all settled out. The world has decided as a society what side they're coming down on, and it's not on the side of the thing that he liked. And now he's being suspended for something he liked 3 years ago because time marches on and opinions change and things settle, and we all make decisions about what we're for and against in terms of a society. And it turned out he was on the wrong side of that one, and he got suspended. And I'm not saying it was right or wrong. I'm saying it's what happened. So it's one more reason to think, what I'm all fired up about today is most likely not going to be the thing that everybody's looking favorably on in 6 months, 1 year, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years. And that thing, my take on that, is going to haunt me forever, because there's one thing that the internet does not do, and that is give you the space as a human being to change your mind. And so you cannot walk it back. You liked it. You could have radically different views about that thing now, but the fact is that at the time, this is where you stood, and you're going to be held to that account for the rest of your life, and it could harm you in real material ways. So I've just decided social media is not the place for me. All right. Let's move on to the next one, which is encouraging positive reviews. I want to say more than that, the kinds of reviews, like the more detailed reviews, getting your customers to leave reviews that include specific information about where they are in town, the neighborhood that they're in, to leave a picture, to take a picture of the final result that they're happy with, and just post that along with the review that they're leaving. All of those things really start to make a big difference. And in terms of reputation management, they help that reputation stay strong.
Absolutely. And it's not so much that you don't say, oh, don't leave us a review if you don't like us. That's not what we're talking about. We're just encouraging when you know that somebody is really, really happy with your services, just really encourage them to leave positive reviews. So, that's part of it. We learn by our negative reviews as well. So that's all good as well. So let's talk about addressing issues. What kind of issues are we talking about here?
Well, your reviews are going to bring up things, and you're going to see patterns. You're going to see things that are mentioned, even in the really positive reviews. Sometimes they'll, kind of create they'll sandwich in a negative comment among all of the positive things, like if only their prices were lower, or I just wish that the guy wiped his feet before he walked in, or something like that. That those little clues that in the whole didn't necessarily reflect their review or knock it down to 2 or 3 star review, but it was a mention. It was something. It's an issue that needs to be addressed, and the people that are reading those reviews want to know that you take those things seriously. I really appreciate when an owner will weigh in and say, hey, that's not how we want to conduct ourselves. And I understand that this happened, and I'm going to be having a conversation with my team to make sure, and with the individual that served you that day, to make sure that this is not something that is happening all the time. And I really thank you for bringing that to our attention. So, that's a great way to address that review publicly. But then do take it to your team, bring it up in the next meeting, let people know that you're reading those reviews and that your customers have things to say about how your employees are behaving in their home, and, address the issues, deal with the issues. Sometimes you may think, man, I really like this guy. I mean, he's one of my favorite employees. We have these great interactions every morning before he gets in the truck and drives away. But why is it always him that gets mentioned, about being impatient or not taking the time to explain things, or being condescending, or, something's going on here. There's a disconnect. He's treating me differently than he treats our customers. That's an issue you got to deal with. And it's good to see in those reviews that maybe you're not seeing something when that guy drives away in the truck every morning. You don't get to see something that needs to be seen, and your customers are showing it to you. So it may be that you need to do some ride-alongs with that guy and really coach him in terms of taking time and being patient, and making sure that his frustration with commonly asked questions isn't showing on his face every time somebody asks a question again, that he's being patient, understanding, and empathetic. whatever it is you need to do to rectify that situation, or even get rid of somebody that otherwise you really like because he's filling up your reviews with negative, comments and reviews. You got to deal with those things. So addressing those issues is really that's one of the reasons you want to stay on top of it and monitor it.
So another thing that I've had happen several times is clients will call in and say, "Man, I'm just so upset." I'll say, "Okay, what are you upset about?" "Well, I got this review and it said this, 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 and this." And they go on and on and on, and then I go, "Okay, well, is it true?" And the phone goes almost dead silent, and they're like, "Well, I mean, yeah, yeah." And so that's what people don't realize is that's opportunity. I mean, we don't do everything right. I get people that call and complain to me and say, "Hey, Taylor, I don't think I'm getting XYZ, or I don't think what's happening needs to be the thing that's happening." And we look into it and go, "Oh, we have a hole in something. We need to patch or fix something." You know what I'm saying? People take it as it's like they're slapping my baby here in front of me. And if you can pull your emotion apart and stand back and say and look at it with with a curious mind and say, what can I learn from this? What can we do so that we don't have this problem again? And if that's having to get rid of somebody, or if that's having to fix a hole in a system, or whatever it is, that's opportunity. And, we don't want to turn our nose up at opportunities to get better, because the better that we are, the better our reputation, the more business we get. And that, to me, what business owners really should be concentrating on, and I've talked to myself about this too, we need to get better. We need to concentrate on getting better, doing our jobs to the best of our absolute ability. If we do that, then we're doing a good job, and not worry so much about all the frivolous stuff that comes up that takes our eyes off the ball of being better. And that's my opinion.
Yeah, well, it's very much a cultural thing. It's instilling that as the leader of your company, and making sure that the message is clear. We all take responsibility for ourselves, and when we discover that we've got a blind spot, or that we've done something that's against the culture of against the grain of our culture, when it's pointed out to us, we listen, we hear it, and we take action to make corrections. And if we get defensive, if we blow it out of proportion or minimize it and try to make it a non-issue or whatever when it really is an issue, then that needs to be very clearly against the grain of the culture. It needs to be out of step with who you are as a company in terms of desiring to be better.
Yeah, I like what Chuck said. Steel sharpens steel, and a lot of times, we're paper against steel.
Yeah.
And we need to be steel against steel. Yeah, because it really does. I think that's great. Thanks, Chuck. I appreciate that. So let's see, where are we going from here? Oh, promoting our business. So, one of the things that people don't realize is to, I guess, solidify and establish your reputation, you get to promote your business. You get to go on social and show the world who your company is. You get to do those things, and a lot of people miss this opportunity. They don't spend time really promoting their business in a way that is authentic and truthful. They let other people tell their story. And I think it's really, really important for every business to be able to tell their story, tell who they are, and you need to be authentic and truthful about who you are, and promote that in areas so that also carries your reputation through.
Well, I think it carries more weight when other people toot your horn than when you do it yourself. But you can share what other people are saying about you,
Sure,
and
that's part
use
of it.
that as a way of promoting, what you love about your business the most. When a business owner is proud of what he's built, he's going to, take the opportunity to share a review that really meant a lot to him and his team, and share that review as much as a way to promote and toot our own horn, sort of, by using someone else's, moment of sharing what we mean to them. But we're going to get a chance in that to show a little bit about our character, that the reason that we do what we do is because of comments like this, because this is important to us, and serving customers and getting a good result for the people that we serve is a key important thing about why we get up every morning and come in and do what we do. So you get to use those reviews and those accolades and those awards, those local awards, when you win one for being a great place to work in your community, or a local charity is recognizing you for your donation of time or talents or money or services or whatever. You can use that to build bridges and strengthen community bonds and promote your business for sure.
Well, I'll also add to that. A lot of people forget that they can do regional or local press releases when there are things like awards, charities, those kind of things that really lend itself to the community. So don't forget that's also a part of your reputation and the managing of your reputation,
Yeah, absolutely.
So
Jay says, if you say you're great, it's bragging. If others say it, then it becomes the truth.
well, I may have been misunderstood a little bit, because what I was really talking about is making sure you tell your story, and that can be in a lot of different ways. We have to tell our own stories, but if we don't, then other people are going to fill that in. And so, however that is done, it can be done in a lot of different ways that's not direct. So, yeah.
Yep. All right, last one, and I added this one sort of at the last minute, but I want people to understand that your social media reputation, or your online reputation, oftentimes casts a bigger net than just the pages and accounts that are associated with your business or that have your business name on them. Your employees' accounts, your personal social media accounts as the owner of the business, all of those things can become associated with your business in one way or another. So it becomes very important to make sure that you at least understand what's going on those accounts as well, and do your best to steer away from those third rail issues. The third rail issue is just, grabbing hold of anything that's got the juice right now, that's got, a lot of energy, a lot of possible misunderstanding or political, it's the politics and religion and, family and sex and, anything like that. Staying away from those becomes really important, because you can offend somebody very quickly, and they can just form an opinion about, not just, you didn't say it as a business, you said it on your personal account. Doesn't matter. That person is going to draw inferences and judge your entire company based on one thing that you said that they may not like. So that's another reason I just stay out of social media altogether.
Yeah, no, it's really gotten too toxic, and everybody's got an opinion. And I think what you said is really important, that we pay attention to our employees, and really, I don't want to keep my employees off social, but we do tell them, hey, you've got to watch what you say, because we are a marketing company. We are who we are. So if you want to engage in these things, if it comes back on us, then we're going to have a conversation. So, I mean, that's it can be that simple. It doesn't have to be restrictive, is what I mean.
Yeah.
With that. Yeah. Yeah. Well, guys, we're at 30 minutes, right there on the dot. That's awesome. So Spark Live is also released as a podcast on Spotify, iTunes, Google Play, Podvine, or your favorite player. And next week, we're going to jump into best practices when managing and responding to reviews. So we're going to really get into how to manage those reviews, how to manage the different platforms, and how to respond to reviews in a way that makes you look like a hero. So that's what we're going to do. So other than that, you got anything else?
No, that's it. We'll be traveling next week, so we'll be doing this from the road, probably behind the wheel, but we'll definitely look forward to having that when the time comes.
So I'm going to put this up because I think it's true. In today's climate, you can offend 50% of your client base.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
is true.
And you will offend 50%.
You will.
If you say something that has any kind of political or religious or whatever, I mean, if it's got an undertone, if it's a part of a bigger conversation going on in the world that doesn't have anything to do with business, guarantee you're going to offend a large number of people.
And you have to ask your question: is your opinion on this thing worth losing 50% or more of your business?
Yeah.
That's it. Ask the question. So, all right, guys, we'll see you next week. Thanks so much. Hopefully you guys will have a great week wherever you are. See ya.
Bye, everyone.